Good evening, we are opening, we have our call to order now. All rise for the pledge of allegiance. No action. We took no action in closed session. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're on number 5, the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move approval. Oh, go ahead. I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion on any of these items?
Yeah, no, I don't.
No? Okay. Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And aye, it's unanimous. Item 6, monthly items and financial reports. A, the monthly approval of warrants. Do we have a motion to approve the warrants?
I make a motion to approve the warrants. I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion on the warrants?
Oh, wonder. You're welcome. I'm not logged in.
All right.
I'm sorry, okay, no, it's fine. I'm now logged in. I was like, I can't find my yellow sticky note because I wasn't logged in. I just wanted to double check my sticky note. What did I have? Okay, go ahead.
Well, while she's doing that, I'll say kudos to Denise for your masters in governance. They all handled all at once.
Thank
I
you.
never thought of that myself. So I think I paid for one myself and got reimbursed for another, and I've done 4, but not all 5, because it just blasted out. That was good.
Okay, yeah, they offered as a bundle, so.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions? No? Roll call vote.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, unanimous. Item B is, I don't know if this is an action item, the 2024-25 cafeteria profit and loss report.
No, the next 2 items are just information only.
Okay.
So this is an annual report we do to show the financial state of the cafeteria fund. And as you can see, if you look back over time at the ending balance, it was not self-sustaining. We used to have to make a transfer some of the years early on that have a higher amount. We would make a transfer from our general fund usually in July to be able to start purchasing food for back to school because we were always at the end of the budget every year. And now that all students eat for free, we're able to claim more reimbursable meals because it's not holding them back from participating if they couldn't afford lunch. So it's really been great. But you can see that our revenues and our expenditures are pretty close together. In fact, it's only a little bit more revenue than expenses. It is expensive for food and many things, they have gone up. But we did have a balance that's rolled over that's helped with the carryover. So we'll be looking at, you're not allowed to have a big balance in the cafeteria fund sitting there over time. So we might look at doing some upgrades to equipment and into the kitchens.
Got a George Foreman grill in there.
I used to have one of those in college.
Thank you, Terry. Item 6C is the 2020 to 2025 5-year developer fee report and the 2024 to 25 annual developer fee report.
So if you looked at it on Friday, you might have just seen the 5-year report. I had some emails going back and forth with the county to find out if you still had to do the annual report on the same year that the 5-year report was due. And they didn't get back to me till Monday morning, and they were saying, yes, you have to do both. But I had the annual one already prepared, so I just attached it on Monday morning. It's basically saying the same thing because the amounts are for the current year or the past year are in the 5-year report. But anyways, it's just to show how much revenue was brought in The 5-year one is required to show that you were spending the money, because you're not allowed to have it accruing there. And developers could say, hey, I want a refund. I paid fees back in 2020 and now that money's still sitting there. So it's just a required report that Kurt had helped me to draft back in 2020. So I used his template and just updated it with the current information. And we're still working on the portable projects. We're still trying to close the 1991 portable project at OCI so that we can proceed with the new portables. That has become a huge issue, trying to get that closed because the architect who did the plans died and we're not able to find the paperwork that's needed. They're wanting us to start completely over for a classroom we've been using for 34 years. So we're working with project support specialists to try to get that resolved still. But we're also hoping to be able to use the developer fees when we get to that point, being able to finish the new portables that were purchased, as well as we applied for Steph and I worked together on a COPS grant for school safety. And part of that grant, you have to match for the expenditures that are in there. So we also could use some of the developer fees for that once we find out how much of the grant we get. It was to put in some more additional cameras, new alarms, fencing, different things like that, which we would present at a future meeting. But we're supposed to find out about the results of that grant soon, and that would be helpful to have some of the developer fees, because that would count as modernization, which you can use the fees for. It's not just for new construction.
Thank you, Tara. Item 7, hearing of persons wishing to address the board. I don't have any slips from the public, but just want the public to know that we do welcome your input. If you do offer comment, you have 3 minutes, or you can send an email. The address is here to elder@vastlakesd.org prior to 12 p.m. On the date of the meeting, if you'd like to address the board, and your email will be read by a staff member at the meeting up to 3 minutes in length. There will be no board discussion and no action will be taken unless listed on the subsequent agenda. Okay, next item here, we have action item 8A is resolution number 26-27, resolution authorizing emergency repair work related to roof flooding, building 100 at Oak Creek Intermediate School.
Move approval of the resolution 2607.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion on this?
So I worked with our new maintenance and operations manager, James Gillespie, to, he would let me know when we had that first rain that the ceiling tiles, this roof has been leaking for a very long time, and we've been band-aiding it for a long time. But this last time, poor Mr. McGrew's office was filled with ceiling tiles, and you could see he almost had 3 skylights in there. I didn't know if maybe he was looking for that. But so I reached out to a facilities consultant that was a colleague of mine from my CBO class, and asked, what can you do if you have an emergency? Because if you have to put it in the paper and do a public hearing and go out to bid, that's a very lengthy process, and we're getting ready to get into winter. And what if we have a bunch more rain? We can't wait. So she let me know that you could, she sent me this resolution, and she said, you can do an emergency repair under this ed code. You just have to work with your county office. So I reached out to the county. James got the quote, so we got it here on the agenda so that we don't have to wait. We can get that repaired right away for everyone, student and staff safety and health. And we are able to use our capital facilities fund 42, so it won't impact the general fund. That's the fund, if you remember when they sold the Bass Lake School, that the money's been sitting in there. And each year we've used it here and there when there's been a capital project. So I think that it'll be really good. There's 3 buildings that have leaks, if you've noticed 3 of them on the quote, but we're just trying to address the most critical one right now and then revisit, because those funds do accrue some interest in the county treasury, so maybe we wait a year and then we can do 1 more and so on. And there's pictures there. I mean, you can see it's pretty bad. The drain runs into the walls and the water just comes in and
Discussion on this? Okay, roll call vote.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, unanimous. Item B, resolution number 26-08, resolution of the governing board of Bass Lake Joint Union Elementary School District to adopt the use of curriculum/instructional materials for the 2025-2026 school year. Do we have a motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
I'll second. Discussion on this.
So this is one of the last things that we needed to have done for our Williams monitoring through the county and the state. So last month, we had a resolution that said we were offering enough curriculum and instructional standards-based materials for all of our students. They also wanted a resolution saying that all of the curriculum that has been adopted in the district is the curriculum that is going to be used for the upcoming 25-26 school year. So that's what this is. So everything that's listed here is the same curriculum that was listed on last month's resolution.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Unanimous. 8C, adoption of board policies, administrative regulations, and bylaws presented in the September meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion for the adoption of board policies, administrative regulations, and bylaws presented in the September meeting.
I'll second.
As I mentioned last meeting, there are several of the policies that completely ignore the Title IX 2020. As everyone knows, that I gave a letter, the 2024 Biden administration Title IX revisions were vacated by a federal judge. So now, pursuant to federal law, we are back to the 2020 Title IX ruling. So it was clear from what I could see that some of these policies do not align with that ruling that we violated. So it's a federal ruling. It should have covered all of California, all of the states, and in fact, California is being sued by the Attorney General, U.S. Attorney General's Civil Rights Office for violating Title IX, having biological male and female sports. So that is an active lawsuit right now. So I personally am not going to vote yes on these. I don't think you can isolate any of these items since they're to be approved as a whole. So
Do you want to give any specific ones or just regarding all of them?
Diane, if you did want to pull some of them aside, you could have before we made a motion to adopt all of them, right? You could pull some aside if you don't want to.
Up for discussion now.
Well, it is, but she said since there's no way, but there is a way anyway, in the future maybe, if you want to pull some aside, you can amend the motion and ask to pull some aside that you don't want to talk about, or you can just disagree with all of them. It's up to you.
well, then I make a motion to pull and read the following items.
There's already a motion
Okay.
and it's been seconded. So unless you want to amend your motion,
Oh, okay. So can I just revoke my
You
motion and then maybe
withdraw
she
your
makes the motion
Mhm.
because she's got all the numbers. Okay, so I withdraw my motion to approve all of the board policies and administrative regulations for September.
I'd like to make a motion to pull the following items for separate vote and discussion. Starting with policy. Starting with policy 6145, athletic programs. Regulation 5145.3, non-discrimination/harassment. This would be regulation 6142.1, sexual health and HIV/AIDS prevention instruction. The parent guardian notification and opt-out is a violation of the Supreme Court ruling 2025 in Mahmood versus Taylor, where the court ruled that the parents have the right to opt their children out of LGBTQ themed instruction. So this particular policy does not allow parents to opt out of this content.
Which policy was that?
That's regulation 6142.1.
Okay, got it.
And the next one is policy 6145.2, athletic competition. That's also a violation of the Title IX as it was vacated.
Mhm.
And this is a safety issue, an unfair advantage. It's a safety issue having males compete in female sports as they're typically stronger, and this can cause physical problems. And those are the only ones. I'd like to make a motion to pull those.
May I ask a question? Was 5145.7 on that list? If not, I would like to add that for the same reasons.
I didn't see anything that specifically violated anything on that one, so that's why I didn't name it.
Okay, just to review that later.
So I'd like to make a motion to pull those. David, would you like to?
I make a motion
She
to,
already did.
oh, I'll second it. I didn't hear.
Okay. So then do we now make another motion, or we have to rule on that?
On the remaining ones, we should probably go ahead with.
So, am I understanding that you're making a motion to approve, except you're gonna pull these other ones for separate vote?
Correct.
Yes, okay, got that. So first that, second that, we can vote on that, then we can go to the other ones in question.
Okay. So we make
Okay, so then I'll make a motion then for the rest of the policies and regulations that were not the ones that she mentioned, so that we can approve those.
That's what I was trying to clarify, was I was thinking she's making a motion to approve the board policies except
Okay,
for that list that we're gonna pull aside,
you're right.
and then we'll vote on those separately.
Okay, thank you.
Do you want the motion restated, Larissa?
You wanna restate it?
Okay, so is there a motion to pull the items that I already mentioned? I don't need to restate them. Okay, and vote on the remaining policies?
I make that motion.
And Stephen seconded that.
Okay, and I second it.
Okay.
A little bit lost on that.
Okay. So we agree on that one?
So now there's a roll call
Well,
vote
there needs to be discussion,
or
right, if
discussion,
there's any discussion about those policies.
the policies that you haven't mentioned.
Is there,
I don't know.
The only discussion I have is I already sent you an email regarding policy 1113, and that had to do with student photos on the website, and the language in the policy was saying that if students' names are not included, photographs of individual students or groups of students, such as at a school event, may be published on school or district websites. So I wasn't comfortable with that, thinking that if they haven't been given consent and their picture pops up, what if there's some sort of liability with a parent who's, doesn't have custody or, whatever, there could be a lot of liability with that. And so Michelle sent me the form that parents fill out at the beginning, giving that type of consent. So that made me feel comfortable with that policy. So that was my question regarding those policies.
Discussion?
Can I ask a quick question? Were you adding 5145%? What was that?
it's added, or it's added as an exclusion.
It's added as exclusion. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, there are 5.
Correct.
Okay.
So at this point, we're approving the remaining.
Correct.
That's correct.
That's my
Roll
understanding.
call vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, so now we make another motion on those 5 policies. So, do we have a policy to approve or a motion rather, to, approve these 5 policies or the restatement? Okay.
I make a motion, we approve them.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on that?
To approve them to be discussed later.
Well, I'm approving them, but you guys can discuss your objections to them.
Well, I'm going to vote no on that.
Well, that's the discussion we can have right now.
I've already stated my reasons.
Okay, so I looked through these and it says I'm on 6142.1, it says parent/guardian notification and opt-out. At the beginning of each school year or at the time of the student's enrollment, the superintendent or designee shall notify parents/guardians about comprehensive sexual health and HIV prevention education, as well as research on student health behaviors and risks planned for the coming year. The notice shall advise parents, guardians, et cetera, and
Go to the last 2 paragraphs.
There's an opt-out at the bottom.
There's an exception. Which one is it?
Policy
6142.1.
6142.1.
requirements of the Ed Code pertaining to instructional content, teacher training, and parent guardian notification opt-out shall not apply to the following: a description or illustration of human reproductive organs, instruction materials and programming that discusses gender, gender identity, gender expression. Okay, so that's the part that you're,
Correct.
yeah,
That doesn't allow for an opt-out.
okay.
Right.
There is opt-out.
You can opt out of them participating in the program though.
That was
Like,
in
we
the,
do give that notification and they can review the materials.
that's in
That saying
614.
request in the writing.
614.1.2 gives you an opt-out at the bottom.
This is the policy, right? Is that correct that we're on?
Yeah, so I guess that's where it's confusing, right? Because number 2 says the parent guardians have the right to opt their students out of this, but then at the bottom, it says
There's an exclusion.
that they're not allowed to.
What paragraph is the exclusion?
That is page 3.
Page 3.
bottom,
at the
yes,
bottom?
there.
Okay.
Number 2,
6142.1.
6142.1.
Bottom of page 3.
And we're on the regulation, right?
yeah,
You're on the regulation.
I'm on the regulation.
we're on the regulation.
Okay.
So council to evaluate each opt-out request and determine whether. And so you're saying that there are not opt-out options?
This is saying, except as required by law, the requirements of blah, blah, pertaining to instructional content, teacher training, and parent guardian notification to opt-out shall not apply to the following. So items A and B, the parent does not have the option, as far as how I read it, to opt
Oh
or
gosh, I'm on, okay, I'm sorry, what?
So
I
page 3 at the bottom.
No, I need the policy, apparent, or rec, I was on the wrong thing.
4-1, you need to be on the reg.
I am on the reg, 6142.2,
6142.1. 6142.1.
dyslexia. And we're on the regulation of that?
Yeah,
It's
page
page
3 of the
regulation.
Regulation.
But it says except as required by law.
Pertaining to instructional content, teacher training, and parent guardian notification and opt-out shall not apply to the following: a description or illustration of human reproductive organs. Okay, let me read this.
That makes sense. Look at the Ed Code.
Okay, right now, how I'm seeing this is if you don't opt out completely, you can't just opt out on this. Maybe is what that's saying?
Yeah, it's definitely confusing because in the policy, and I know the regulation's different because that's how we apply, but in the policy, it says, at the beginning of each school year or at the time of the student's enrollment, parent guardians shall be notified in the manner specified in the accompanying administrative regulation, and they may request in writing to opt their students out of participating in comprehensive sexual health and HIV prevention education. Students so excused shall be given an alternative educational activity. Additionally, a student shall not be subject to disciplinary action, academic penalty, or any other sanction if the student parent guardian opts the student out of such instruction. So that feels very clear, but then when you go to the regulation, it becomes slightly unclear.
Yes. In a way, you're not allowing an opt-out at all based on this language.
Can we, I was wondering, maybe tabling like just this one so we could get clear understanding, because I think we all agree that we want Karis to have the ability to opt out, and if we're confused about this language, we need some clarification.
So this part of the Ed Code essentially says that the specific rules for comprehensive sexual health education, things like the required content, special training for teachers, and the mandatory parent guardian notification and opt-out process do not apply to other subjects taught in school. But that's not, it doesn't like outline that. So I think I agree with Julie, like we all agree that if parents want to opt out, they can opt out. So let's make sure that we understand why it's different on the reg than on the policy, on the regulation, before we move forward.
Okay, so we're gonna pull regulation 6142.1 and put it on next month's agenda, correct?
That's the sexual health and HIV/AIDS prevention instruction.
But that's just the regulation. So are we passing the policy? Because the policy says unequivocally that there is an opt-out.
Yeah, they usually mirror each other.
Right. So we're gonna.
Are those, did you list those two? Did you list the policy and the regulation on this?
I did not.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I mean, I did
Just
just on the
the
other
reg.
one, but on the regulation I did.
Yeah, the policy has that.
But the policy has to opt out.
Well, that's Ed Code too, that they recognize things that are not like full time, so it's what
Yeah.
they're trying to say.
Yeah, let's just put it on the next agenda so we can do our due diligence with the research and make sure that everybody understands before we take action.
Teresa, do you need any clarification?
No, do you need a motion for
Oh, but, yes, probably, but are we gonna do this one by one?
I'm just,
Yes, we're gonna do one by one. Okay, so then, we're gonna take each one. You made a motion, right, to pull it? It was your suggestion.
Suggestion.
Did you want to motion it,
Or I
or
don't feel like I can motion on top of another motion.
I thought you approved.
do you want me to
some of them.
motion?
You want to amend your motion?
Oh, I did make that motion, didn't I?
can't we vote, can't you still vote on those as a whole, but pull that one?
Again, we're gonna pull it.
Yeah, right, that could be the vote, right?
Yeah.
So are we gonna hold on to this until we discuss all 5 of these, and that way, if we're gonna pull another
I
one?
think the motion is to talk about all of them, right? That's what what's happening right now. Like,
Yeah.
we're in discussion about all 5 of those, right? So let's continue to discuss the other ones if we need to,
Uh-huh.
right? And then the motion, or the vote can be on whatever's decided based on the discussion.
Pull them all.
So we're still talking about the group of them. Mental note, we've set one aside, we're gonna come back to that after, what's the next one, Diane?
Policy 6145 athletic programs.
One, four, five, wait,
Point two?
point two, athletic competition. Is it the policy or the regulation? I think it's the policy. I wrote it down when you were talking about it.
So 6145.2?
It's the
Policy, yeah.
regulation.
Point
You
two,
wrote BP?
yes. Point two, yeah. Okay, so. I think the regulation is what is different on this one as well. So I'm gonna find the regulation 6145.
The other one was the policy, right? No, it was the regulation. Okay, this one, they're flip-flopped on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, the regulation 6145.2 regarding athletic competition. This one violates the 2020 Title IX ruling and abides by what it appears to be the 2024 Title IX amendments made under the Biden administration, which are no longer allowed.
Is this about participating in athletics? Is that what you're referring to, the participation in
Yes.
athletics based on gender identity?
Yes.
And, okay, go ahead.
So there's that one. Is there any other comment on that?
I just disagree with it, basically. I think that whole paragraph there should end with insofar as none of this above violates Title IX. I think that should be added right to it.
So it's my understanding that when they went back to the ruling of 2020, like your letter that you shared with us, Diane, that on this specific issue, in the research that I did, I'm sure there's other things that I didn't, maybe read, but in my understanding is that the 2020 rule was sort of silent on this like specific issue. However, California Ed Code is specific and explicit about, it's California Ed Code 221.5 that is explicit about the protection for transgender students and participation in athletics. So these policies, of course, are vetted through California law, right? And so that's the research that I found, and that's my understanding as to likely why they're recommending this as a policy, because they're following the explicit language in the California Ed Code. So, again, right, like we've talked about this before, like this is through CSBA and Gammon, and it's all vetted through the attorneys
For
liability. So
Title
that's what I
IX,
meant.
under this provision, is vacated and it's, the jurisdiction is over all of the United States. So California is not excluded from that ruling that vacated the 2024 Biden administration, which included all of the.
I guess I don't understand enough about this Title IX and what's going on, so.
Well, Title IX was created in 1972 to non-discrimination against women. But then it was added, Biden administration added all the other protections for LGBTQ plus, et cetera. And so.
Marginalized.
Well, I think as we, sorry to interrupt. I think as we went through from the 70s, things were continually added by multiple administrations, right?
Yes.
Not, right. But yes, it was, the 2024 ruling was vacated back to the 2020. That is correct. Like I said, in what I found, it didn't seem like it was super specific. However, California Ed Code is. So we can discuss, the board can give a direction on a recommendation of making sure that, ultimately we need to be legally defensible, right? And we need to make sure that we are
Protecting
all of our students per the law, right? So whether we feel one way or feel the other, right, is not the issue, right? So I think what I'm hearing, and please, this is discussion, is different interpretations, right, of the vacating of the Title IX, and then where does the California Ed Code come in? And I think we need to be very careful, and before we decide what we want to do, we need to make sure that we're going to be legally defensible based on the laws.
Okay, so I think I want to amend my motion again. Okay?
How you doing over there,
I
Lisa?
feel like, Lisa, I feel like the ones that we pulled aside, they should all be put to next month. Because we're all gonna have to do our own homework, because they're all the same premise, transgender children. And that's the basis of your, not wanting to along those policies, correct? It's basically the transgender.
Part of the Title IX was vacated.
Right, so that way we can all do our own homework and find out how we can be compliant with the law and advocate for all of our children. So why don't we move all of them to next month?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I just
Okay.
want to make one comment on this too, is that I don't see this going only in one direction. Because if you have a young lady that would like to try out for the football team, and there is not a girls' football team, then she can play football under this regulation.
That's correct.
Right, but if we change it, she wouldn't be able to.
Right,
So it's dangerous for her, so that's.
But that's what she wants to do.
That's not
That's
not necessarily
you
for
don't
us
get
to
to decide
decide that, right?
I'm just trying to offer another comment with this, that it's not, this just doesn't go in one direction.
Yeah.
CSBA wouldn't recommend.
I'm not interested in taking away anybody's rights to play anything.
Yeah, so I think we'll just all do our own homework and then decide, like you said, ultimately, we have to be compliant with the law, federal and state. And so we all have to do our own homework this month and figure out how we can best move forward with these policies.
Then I want to know which law supersedes which law. That's unclear
I think
to
a
me.
lot of people have that question.
And then how do we find that out?
Yeah, it's a good question.
We'll have to reach out to legal.
Oh, yeah, another $2,000 question we can ask our legal team.
It's only $410.
The United
Only
States,
$410 an hour.
United States Education Department.
That's being dismantled?
Well, let's not.
I'm sorry, but are we gonna follow something that's being taken apart? Like, I don't get it.
Department is not.
But we have to go by what CSBA gives us. That's the most protected under what we're supposed to.
I think part of the issue here is some of the Title IX, like I was saying back in 2020, what's been vacated is unclear. It doesn't like state exactly, right? And so that's why states created very explicit laws and rules around it, right? So I think that when it's not clear, but you have a clear state law, then it's the state law, right? So but
Okay.
I'm not an attorney, so we can go in that direction.
Yeah, I think that's what, for me, that's what's going to help me make this decision. That's what I need to know. Because if the federal law supersedes the state law, then she may have a point. But if state law supersedes, then it's in our best interest to vote these in.
And if it takes time for, let's say, you have until a certain deadline to implement the new thing, shouldn't we be covered by what's being handed to us in the current situation right now? And then when we have to be compliant by, or when there's a transition from the federal law into the state law, and we have a certain window that can take, then we adopt it at that time? I would be curious to see what
Like I
legal
said, I'm
says.
just unclear on, we kind of talked about this last month when this first got brought up, was, which law, because she's saying, well, this law doesn't apply anymore, this Title IX law doesn't apply, and yet on the state side, they're saying, oh, no, here it is, this is ed code, this is how it is, and so we're creating, or updating policies based on something that, to me, is unclear. Are we following the state law, or are we following the federal law? What are we doing? And I'm unclear on what that is.
I'm clear that we're under the federal law as we pledge allegiance to this flag, and that there's just a number of the same policies Diane mentioned and a couple others where I thought were great, as long as they ended with the phrase, insofar as none of this violates Title IX. And that would solve the whole problem of the state and the feds.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would, actually.
Okay,
We
well,
receive
I
both
disagree.
funding, state and federal.
We get state, we get actually more funding from our state than federal,
Well, it
so
doesn't matter where your funding comes from, that's not the criteria.
we have, ultimately, we have to follow the law.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ed code is
the
from
The
our
law,
state.
not the funding. Come on.
It's California ed code though.
You guys are saying federal monies don't come into our schools that often, or that much. Anyway, the point is, we're gonna table this till next month. Can we, seek legal clarification? Although, are we gonna wanna spend that kind of money?
Well, I'm gonna reach out to CSBA first, right? Like, we'll
Because
reach
they
out
have their attorneys, yeah, exactly.
and do a little more digging and get a little more information, so I can present that to you guys ahead of time,
Mhm.
right? And then it'll be agendized for the next month, and it'll be important to make sure you look at that and ask questions about that, and then we'll talk about it in November. I don't remember what month we were in.
Perfect.
If we are in violation and we're going forward with policies that are in violation, there's lawsuits can potentially happen there, so.
Well,
Discussion.
and I also want to say that some of this, right, we have in this policy is also included concussions and head injuries, heat illness, sudden cardiac arrest, AEDs. Are we going to throw all that out as well? So, some of this we need to clarify as well.
Well, and I think much of this, I would think is probably in the existing policy, right? These are like updates, right?
Yeah.
So if we're willing to risk that of, maybe not abiding by the update until we reconvene, then that's what we do.
Okay, so we're gonna table those items,
Mhm.
and we're gonna go ahead with the vote on the remainder, is that correct?
Can I just ask for clarification on the five?
Yes.
I'm gonna read the numbers in. So I have AR 6145.2.
That's regulation, not hard policy.
Yeah, that's, AR will be regulations and BP will be policy.
Yes,
BP 6145.2,
yes.
AR 6142.1. And then I don't know what these fall under. I have 5145.3 instead of
That's
BP or AR.
That's an AR.
And then I have 5145.7.
I wrote it down as a regulation, is that right, Stephen? That was yours?
Yeah,
Okay, so that's
Did you also have board policy 6145?
I have BP 6145.2.
Yes.
So is there 5 or 4?
I have
Total.
5.2.
That's what this is.
Yeah, so the med code matches the policy.
Could you read them one more time, Felicia?
I just want to check if it references it.
AR 6145.2. DP 6145.2.
Yeah.
AR 6142.1. AR 5145.3. AR 5145.7.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, very good.
So now do we go ahead with the vote on the remainder?
Is there a second to this amended motion? On the floor.
I make a motion.
I second it.
So roll call vote for the remaining policies.
Aye.
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 Aye. So nothing further that needs to be done with this one. Very good. Okay, now we're moving to the information items. A is the enrollment report.
So, it was only a small change, a little bit of an increase there from last month, 773. And then also attached there, you'll see now that we have some data, from August on, the attendance and ADA, or the ADA and enrollment comparison. So you can see the attendance percentage. That's also attached, so you can see, you know, how many students are enrolled versus the actual attendance. So we're still getting close, some are getting closer back to the 95% or higher, which was pre-COVID levels.
They're in the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, last year I think there were more everybody was low 90s, so it's a little bit of improvement. But still, we need more kids, because we built a budget on 803 kids, and we're gonna be funded on 773. So that's gonna be challenging.
Item B is the inter-district transfer reports. It looks like we had 3 students transfer into Bass Lake School District since September 10th.
Yep.
Okay. And academic achievement.
Okay, so just a couple things to discuss. I shared with you on the supporting documents and then also in front of you, a little bit of iReady data. What I did is I just compared last school year and this school year in both reading and math. We'll start with reading, where we were as a district as far as students on or above grade level, 1 grade level below, or 2 or more. So you see sort of that pyramid, right, with the tiers. So at the beginning of the 24-25 school year, 60% for reading were on, 19% were 1 year below, and 21% were 2 or more. And then at the bottom of that page, I showed how our English learners were scoring in comparison to our English only students. And the reason I did that is because this year we're focusing a lot on our English language development instruction and looking at our reclassification criteria and seeing what we can do for our English learners. And so I thought that might be interesting to look at, right? So you can see sort of like where we were at the beginning of the school year last year compared to the beginning of the school year this year in both reading and math, and then the subgroup of our English learners at the bottom of the page.
So it looks like in reading, it's like the same.
Except for
Almost
the
identical.
English learners, a little bit less, starting this year.
Yeah.
But everything else seems pretty similar. Well, I guess we didn't go backwards, that's good.
Yeah, it is
It's the
good.
beginning of the school year.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing's,
So we should have, well, I have CASP data, but it hasn't been released to the public, so I'm not supposed to release it to the public. So I do have that, and that will come out, I think, They said hopefully by the end of October. So hopefully that'll be out and we can report on that at our next board meeting. And then I just kind of wanted to let you guys know that, again, we are focusing on ELD and looking at how we can structure to make sure that our students are getting, our English learners are getting designated instruction throughout the day. And we're also doing some work on making sure that our reclassification, so students exiting out of being designated as an English learner and moving on to being English only. We're looking at that criteria because the way it currently exists is pretty much near impossible, right? And we're expecting more from our English learners than how our English only kids are performing. So that is not good. And so we're looking at scale scores and iReady and finding averages, and then going to be looking at CASP, and then we're going to create a criteria that makes it more equitable and more attainable for those students. And also related to academic achievement, we are getting ready to prepare and launch a pilot for 2 new SEL curriculums, social emotional learning. So we've had conversations with representatives, and we have set timeframes that they're going to give us a free trial, and they're also going to provide professional development within that trial so that our teachers can understand how to use the program and be able to use it for free for a period of time. And they also are going to give us like rating scales, so we can have like a rubric, and teachers and principals and staff that are involved in piloting that can score and have say in which ones, they like the best, and then move forward with adopting something after we've gone through that process. So that should be launching soon. We're getting close. And then we're also getting close to doing some work at each site for mission, vision, and goals for each school site, so that we can sort of have a collective idea of where we want to go with our students and setting goals around that, and then having that help drive some of the professional learning communities that we're also looking at launching as soon as we can get all of this work done. We want to make sure that we do it right. So we're doing it a little bit slow, and time is always hard to come by, but we are doing the best that we can and trying to move in the direction of getting that stuff up and running. So those are all things that are like actively in real time taking place and should be coming to fruition soon. So that's, any questions on that?
I had a different question. I got a parent square about Attendance Plus.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
Yeah. So Attendance Plus is an add-on to Parent Square.
Yeah.
We all know that our chronic absenteeism isn't great. We did make growth. It's getting better. And so we're sort of doing this we are doing an attendance campaign. And the way Attendance Plus works is kind of similar to iReady with different tiers. It gives each school and the district a dashboard, like daily. It rolls over every night with all of the attendance information in areas, and it'll group kids into tiers, right? So like tier 1, good attendance, tier 2, okay attendance, tier 3, chronic absent, tier 4, significantly chronic. And it is really easy to just like click. You see a list of students at your school in the different tiers. And then we've created message templates in there so that the office manager, office secretary, whoever has been tasked with sending these messages out, can send positive messages out to the students who are doing well and coming to school. Students that are struggling, we're trying to be collaborative and positive by sending messages out like, hey, we've noticed you've missed your student, and it'll say the student's name has missed this many days of school. We want to help. Please contact us if we can provide resources or assistance to make sure that so-and-so can get to school. and we have little blurbs in there about how it affects academic achievement and social emotional learning and those types of things. We also can send messages if a student maybe was struggling and maybe in a tier 3 or a tier 4, but now has made progress. So we want to really celebrate that. And so we'll send messages home to those families. We're trying to tie our positive behavior intervention or our PBIS rewards points to that also to incentivize attendance. And the way we've structured it is at the beginning of each month from the district, you may have seen it look kind of like a notebook, and it had like 4 squares and it had information about attendance. So that gets generated out of the district office and sent out. And then the first and third Tuesday is when the messages get sent out to families, depending on where the kids are falling. And then if principals need to make follow-up phone calls because they notice, hey, we need kind of want to partner with this family and see how we can help, that's also taking place. So that's what we're doing to try and get our kids to school more often.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're on to 10 accomplishments and other reasons to celebrate from throughout the district.
I think we're
M&O's
project.
summer project report.
Okay.
You thought you were getting out of it, didn't you?
James.
Who's open?
All right, so summer projects throughout the summer we had, which if you guys, we got one.
Yeah, we have
perfect. So, Wasumu, multiple classrooms, I think 5 overalls that we have there. The kindergarten, the rooms are the 5, 6, and 7 in the kindergarten and the discovery zone, so the kindergarten rooms back to back. Discovery zone there, room 8, and then again, room 22. It's OCI. We were able to get one room done there, junior high classroom there. Am I supposed to talk about the cost of it? Or is that just there?
No, just the projects and what was done.
Gotcha, perfect. Fresno Flats, which is now, I don't know, what's Fresno Flats now?
Student services.
Student services.
Student services. So that had a 2 deck on there that was ripped out, new concrete rails, handrails installed. So that was a large project. We took on the removal, so that removal and the disposal of the old, and have the concrete poured over the summer. The handrails just got done, so everything's up and running there. So go here. OES here, your little section of tile that you're on right there is new. Had to replace this, was bubbling up over in the corners here, and a couple spots over here as well. So that was a new repair that was done right before school started as well. We had vinyl sheets, flooring installed in the 400 building here. It used to be tile, and they were starting to come up, so that was done in the classroom as well as the 3 restrooms that are in that classroom. So that's all been done and up to date. And kitchen was another one with the vinyl sheet flooring. That project is partially done. The office, storage room, bathroom were replaced. The kitchen floor itself, everything has to come out of the kitchen, which will be done the day after school ends. And then they'll come in, put the flooring in, and then we'll put everything back in after that. So that is the big project that's started in one summer and will finish right when school's out. So it's a 2-week, at least a 2-week project. And for us to have to remove, initially we were informed that we could install and they could cut around the tables and everything that was in there. But once the flooring contractor came out, he said, no, that's not the way it's gonna work. So that is on hold because we don't have the time frame to do removal and back in and installing the kitchen ready to feed the whole district. So that's gotta wait till the end of school. But partially done at this point. Concrete grinding was done here at OES. There was a lot of tripping hazards throughout here and as well as OCI. So we had a company come in and grind everything down smooth. So that was a large project as well. And then I think that's all I have at this point, outside of the next project with that roof, which will hopefully start in the next couple of weeks. So outside of that, that's what I have. I don't think I missed anything on there. If I did, I apologize. But
I have a question.
yes,
Do you install the carpet yourself or do we contract out to carpet
no,
companies?
it's 47th Place Carpet. They're the ones that were doing it prior to when I came, and they're awesome to work with. They're the ones that we go through with the flooring here, as well as the vinyl flooring. So it's just with one-stop shop. Yeah.
And they're great too, because with the pair here, they didn't charge us for the materials.
Yes.
They
Yeah,
just
it was
charge
just
the labor.
labor because the flooring is newer. The problem here is that they feel there's moisture up underneath, so it's a situation of where they're like, hey, we just did it, and they pulled it off, they had to dry it out, and then they came in, and again, yeah, they covered the material, and we paid the labor costs on that. So it is, yeah, we don't have to do, carpet-wise, we don't do, all we have to do is remove everything out and put everything back in. So that's where we're at with the carpet. But the decking we did, there's just, I mean, looking at the cost of what it is to have someone else come, like the company come in that's gonna do the concrete, and then it's either they can do it, or they will, or they won't, and then I have to find someone else to do it. And it's easy enough for us to just spend the time, take care of it, dispose of it, and then someone can just come in and do their job. So that's where we're at this point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say, yeah, thank you for all that you do, because I know what those extra costs could be, and you guys taking that on is incredible, and also the coordination of having all those companies coming during that finite time of the summer, and you coordinating all that is a lot of work.
So, well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we have CTO report.
Give me 1 second, I gotta run a live stream as well, so I gotta do things.
Why you're the CTO?
Yeah, many hats.
Steph and John, what do we do without you?
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys like our new logo? I made it with AI.
Yeah, I love that.
So my prompt was,
It looks a
update.
lot like our area. It's representative of
The mountains, the trees, and the robots.
My prompt was, update this logo to make it more futuristic and have robots. So I think it did pretty good.
I think it understood the assignment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
cute.
okay, so I'm Stephen John, I'm the Chief Technology Officer for Bass Lake School District, as you know. But before I begin, I just want to do a quick shout out to the maintenance department. I've been here a long time, and I could not do what I do here without the help of them. They drop everything when I need something. They help me finish projects. I appreciate James and crew tremendously for that. I also would like to have a shout out to Nicole Meeker, my data specialist. I lean on her expertise every day, and she's a great asset to the IT department. So shout out to her. All right. So, okay. AI.
Mr. John, I think.
So the role of the CTO in the public education isn't just someone who fixes technology and security in the district. They have a strategic plan and a clear vision where the district needs to go 3, 5, 10 years from now. And that vision has education technology at the forefront, as well as how staff and students use technology to be successful. Sorry. The CTO uses all of his resources at his disposal with cost and efficiency in mind. They utilize all the data that comes in to make the best decisions for our district, even when change is resisted. The CTO leads by example and drives essential change. The CTO knows the pulse of the district. So about 12, 15 years ago, things were a little different around here. We had computer labs that had wires everywhere. It was super hot. The rows were tight. Teachers were running around updating the computers. Kids couldn't log in. The curriculum was, well, it wasn't really curriculum. It was more like games and typing, basically. Very small amount of things they did in the computer lab. Our servers were outdated. That was back in like 2013. We were running stuff 10 years earlier than that. So super outdated and secure. I would say we were a mess. The internet was so slow that we couldn't stream. Some was streaming or running Pandora back there. It would bottleneck the whole district, and we were sending emails out and word out, hey, stop streaming, stuff like that. I would have to go home and download stuff and bring it back to work just because it was slower than our home internet. We had very little internet filters. It was the Wild West. We could search pretty much anything and get to stuff. It was really tough back then. The cloud was not even a thing back then. We had to store everything on a server. There were no backups. So if the server died, we lost everything. So it was a pretty big challenge. Most staff didn't have a device, or if they did, it was a large desktop in the classroom, hardwired to the wall, and running basically just for email. Very light stuff they used. There was no hybrid work. You couldn't go home and access stuff. You couldn't work from home. We were pretty much a slave to our emails being at work, and you'd have to go into work to look at them. So, no standardization of tech, and Chromebooks weren't even invented yet. Analog clocks were everywhere. They were never on time, they never were correct, and our maintenance department would have to go around a couple times a year and change out the D batteries on it to keep them going. Our cameras were old, hard to view. You couldn't, if you wanted to get footage from it, it took forever. It was almost impossible to get footage. Our phones were crackly. They failed all the time. The PA speakers, they weren't working. For most of that, we had outdated emergency procedures. We had projectors in every room where some of our teachers might remember projectors. It was a cable that came down the wall, and they were stuck, and they had to sit there and do what they needed to do on the wall. It was, I think we have it pretty good with that now. And basically, I remember the internet going down multiple times, and I wouldn't get a call. No one noticed. It was not being used. So this is funny. I had a presentation many years ago, and I found a picture. And this is an actual computer lab we had at OCI. So I just thought that was kind of funny. That's Mr. Eichholz in the back. You guys remember Mr. Eichholz?
Yeah.
But,
That's cool.
yeah, you got the big desktops, fans running, they're probably playing like Oregon Trail or something like that. Yeah. But, so today, we have all students and staff one-to-one devices. I mean, everyone's got a device, a laptop, or they've got a nice desktop computer that they use, depending if you're in the office or not. But even those employees have a Chromebook that they can take home with them if they need to work remotely. So that's pretty cool. 90% of that is Chromebooks. And I just want to say, most districts wish they could meet that amount of Chromebooks. all the time, I have other districts and county offices calling me, asking me how Bass Lake does it. We are definitely setting the example for technology in education. We are probably one of the only districts that are almost 100%. And I think that's pretty awesome. We now have core online curriculum. Students are going online on the computer doing their main curriculum, or their main schoolwork. Garrick and I have helped introduce EduProtocols into some of the classrooms in the district, which is a different type of pedagogy and helps with engagement, enhanced learning. Our logins are streamlined with multi-factor authentication, and the K through third kids have a badge that they can log in really easily, and the older students have an easy way of remembering emails and passwords to log in. So when I remember logins being a big hurdle, it would take up most of the time in the classroom. So we've solved that problem pretty much entirely. As for multi-factor authentication, if you don't know what that is, that's where you get the text message when you log in, right? There are still a ton of districts out there that don't do that. We have IT directors struggling to see how they're going to implement that in the district. And the reason I bring that up is that we've been doing that for over 5 years. We have done, it's all part of what we do, and it's working great. And that puts us in one of the most secure school districts around, because we are doing great practices like that. Our internet now is 100 times faster than when we started here. So it's amazing, especially in a mountain community where I deal with in the public sector, a lot of families and companies that can't get faster than what we were having back in the day, right? Because of the location. So we're very fortunate to have great internet service here. We have a next-gen Wi-Fi system with everywhere you go, pretty much in the district, with exception of like corner of the field. We have coverage for Wi-Fi. You can use Wi-Fi here. And now we have full access to everything. We have a hybrid learning environment, work and learning environment, I should say. So pretty cool stuff. We have large TVs in every room with wireless projecting capabilities, just like I'm doing right now. That is allowing the teachers to be able to freely walk around the classroom and help students, as well as getting the content that they need to see in the classroom. They can go to any classroom and do this, which is pretty cool. We are entirely cloud-based. Everything that we do is on the internet, in the cloud. We don't have anything we save on-prem, which eliminates us from the potential of ransomware attacks. There is no way we can be attacked by ransomware because of the decisions we've made in the district. So we're pretty proud of that. We have with our cloud-based adoption, we have automatic updates. So now that headache of walk around updating your computer, stuff like that, is pretty much all gone. We can just use the devices as they're needed. We have advanced notification system implemented where we have pretty much 100% enrollment with Parent Square. So everyone that is in our district is getting notifications, content, forms, all of that stuff through Parent Square. And it's working great. If you haven't seen our website yet, we've updated the last year, but we've actually moving over to each site having their own specific website, so we're continually working on that. As you know, we have a new access control badge system. We've eliminated pretty much keys in the district, except for MOT and some specific things, but most staff only have a key card to get in where they need to go, which I don't know any district in California, at least, that has a full access control system. I would even say we're one of the safest schools in the district because we have all of these things. I truly believe that. We had 40 cameras before. We have almost 200 cameras now. And our cameras now are equipped with AI, with license plate, facial recognition, and easy ways to access to get to help our principals with students that are pretending like they didn't do anything. I'm assuming they use that a lot. Right. So these are tools that are gonna help our principals succeed and help with parents, or help them battle the parents that are, giving them problems. They can, a lot can be said when they turn around and go, hey, is this your student? And so, we really like our camera system. Our phone system is, we've been able to expand phones in all the rooms, basically. So now we can contact every room we need, or we have voicemails that are advanced, we have auto attendance, and our attendance calls are streamlined so that secretaries don't have to deal with on-call. When people call in, it goes to a voicemail, and they can, it helps them throughout the day. I just want to say again, Bass Lake, when it comes to technology, is the example that all districts should do, especially in our mountain districts. When our kids leave our district, their technology and their safety experience is drastically declining, in my opinion. And I just think that's because we've just made some great decisions over the years. We've been able to keep that going, so it's really important. We definitely set the bar for tech and safety for that what school district should be. So, what am I working on now? 100% Chromebook adoption for the district, all staff and students, including special education department and the district office. They love that. I believe that these devices have come so far that there's really not a reason why we shouldn't. The more we get onto this platform, the more safe, secure, and the more ability that I can manage at a global scale, because it is just linked. AI receptions for all the front offices. Our secretaries, the front offices, are spending at least 1 to 2 hours a day on the phone, and most of them are from people calling and asking the same questions over and over again. An AI assistant now is good enough to be able to be that front line for them, handle most of those calls, and give them a little bit more time to do other things in the office, which I think any time we can save some time with our secretaries is a big win, because they are just so slim. Me and James are working on smart thermostats and sensor lights in the classrooms and kind of some smart stuff that we can kind of help with utilities and kind of make things a little more automated. I think with a couple little tweaks, we can save some utilities for sure. New alarm system, we're going to leverage our cameras and our door lock system to integrate with alarms. So no more false setting off alarms because you didn't get to the PIN code. And we're going to be able to, and there's a monitoring service that comes with it that's almost the same cost of what we're paying for our alarms right now. So if they see somebody trying to break in, they'll notify me, James, whoever, as kind of a backup. So that's all coming down the road. We got a new round of E-rate coming, and we're going to look into upgrading the Wi-Fi to the next standard, which is Wi-Fi 6E, which is way faster wirelessly than we have now, which is pretty cool. We're going to continue trying to push edge of protocols and kind of get John Pickle in the classroom and get kind of that, just continuing that because I think it's really good stuff, especially for our kids. Next week, we're getting some copiers swapped out, and these new copiers are going to be badge enabled. So when you want to make a copy, you got to come up and tap your badge to use the machines. So for auditing and for kind of a more personal experience. Garrick and I are working on trying to do some staff training for leveraging AI. Maybe, I think that's coming down the pipe. And I think our staff is really going to benefit from using these new tools that we have available to us. As Terry said before, we're pursuing COPS grant solutions. We want to do the fencing around the districts, more camera coverage, pay for the alarms, add strobes, just kind of hardening some of the things we're doing with the grant. One thing me and Michelle talked about is getting all of our buildings with new signs and labels on all the buildings, including on the rooftop, big letters so when the helicopters can see. So if we have an emergency, law enforcement can easily identify where the threat is, or just you know, our signs are just super long, so it's nice to make that a little bit bigger. And then we're gonna look into window decals for the front office windows. So the one way, so you can see out, but they can't see in, but maybe put the logo of our school on it, you know. Yeah, more camera, we're gonna expand the PA system. We got a couple of little things I still need to put in the cloud, so that's my techie thing. And then one thing I'm really excited about is our camera system, Verkada, is coming out, and we're gonna probably beta test it, is an emergency reunification system. So it's basically what happens after an emergency, how do we get students back with the parents and know who the parents were with? They're coming out with some really cool stuff that we can implement into our emergency procedures that will help streamline that process. So other than that, that's what I got going on. Any questions?
What is strobe? What are strobes?
Strobes, like flashing strobe lights. If emergency goes off, it's making lights.
Do we not have it already for?
For fire.
Yeah, for fire, like right there, you're right. over there.
Yeah, but these are like their own independent, so when we send out catapult and the alarms are going off, we've got some light stuff going on too. Just kind of like the whole picture.
Is that indoor or outdoor?
Outdoor. Yeah.
So that,
It's all been cabled too.
I have the same question. What is the E-rate?
E-rate is funding we get. It's basically a tax on, I think, our phone bill. Is it the phone bill, I think? But basically, we get a round of funding. We have category 1, which pays for like our internet, which in our circuits that connect all the schools. And then we get like 80% discount on that, I believe. That's based on our free reduced.
That's federally funded from the FCC, so yeah, we get a discount on all of our internet line and our phone lines.
And then every so often, we get a round of funding for category 2, which basically includes infrastructure, wireless, anything that does with the internet to keep connectivity in the district. So we pay for our existing wireless with the roundup E-rate before and like switches and stuff like that. So to accommodate the fast internet we have. We're good?
Oh, I just have one more question. You were talking about the double authentication. Like, how do you do that with students?
Students are not part of that.
Oh,
It's
just staff. Okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah, that would be tough. Yeah, we're not trying to promote it, so.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. How lucky are we that we have someone like him?
So item 10, accomplishments and other reasons to celebrate from throughout the district. Mrs. Tompkins. Hi.
Okay, perfect. Well, we've been very busy at Wasuma, a lot of stuff happening. So the first thing is we have an amazing ASB team and leadership class, and they worked really, really hard at the very beginning of the year to align our Spirit Week with Yosemite High School Spirit Week that happened on, I think, September 13th. So right away. So as you can see from the photos, they had so much fun. Crazy hat day, twin day, crazy hair day. It was beach. I don't remember what they called it, but beach and buckles day. So it was beach wear or cowgirl cowboy wear, twin day. So it was a very fun, busy week. And then it ended with our middle schoolers going to Yosemite High School to join them for their homecoming parade and rally. So they got to attend that. So during Spirit Week, we actually had our grandparents and VIP day. So we had 155 VIPs on campus that day for lunch. It was really, really fun. Everyone was wonderful and flexible. It was one of the days that it was probably the smokiest day of all. Of course, why not? So they helped us. Our MOT guys were amazing. We got it transferred into the dome, so we were able to have our VIP day inside for everybody. So we have to stay healthy. So Also, we, at the end of September, prepared for our color run. Our color run is a really big fundraiser put on by our PTC. And so to get the kids excited for it, get out there, raise money, Mrs. Mack is amazing and puts on our color run rally. And so we had 2 different sessions. We had it for our K3 and our 4-5. She had a wonderful PowerPoint where she went through what the color run is and why we raise money. And then, of course, if you raise so much money, you get prizes. So as you can see, they had a cookie game. They had to put it on their face and get it down to their mouth without using their hands. That was very funny. One of the others was they had to blindfold scoop cotton balls into a bowl. They had to use toothpicks to get a little item into another little item. So they had a lot of fun. And the tutus are some of our ASB girls who work really hard for us, and they're putting on these wonderful events. Our mascot Wildfire got to join, and everyone loves it when he makes an appearance. So here's our color run. This happened at the end of September. So this was all run by our wonderful PTC. The big banner there are all of the sponsors that they reached out to and donated. So the kids' shirts were completely paid for by our wonderful sponsors. And then everything else is just money that gets to come to the school. So you see what they looked like before with our nice kindergartners up there in the corner, nice and white. And then it ended with our 2nd graders. You can see what it looks like after. So this was a really fun event. They just get to run around the field, go under the tents, get sprayed. Our money comes in tomorrow. Everything's due tomorrow, so they'll be counting it over October break to see how much we earned. Okay, and then sports. So we just finished our sports season for volleyball and football last Friday. So our boys played through the wonderful storm that was happening for guys. It was raining on them, hailing on them. They had some lightning. So they scored 4th in the tournament. So they had a really good season. And then our girls finished last Friday at the tournament, winning 1st place. So there they are. So I just wanted to highlight some of what I've been calling our specialties at Wasima, like around the district. So we have our wonderful PE class, and so she started the year with some team building exercises. So they had to make this hula hoop structure and then be able to crawl through it. And then they had their tallest tower. And then down there in the corner are some of our 1st graders playing kind of like balloon volleyball. And then we have our wonderful band teacher, Mr. Swigart. And so the picture down there is them learning to play their recorders. So they've been working really hard on that. And then up in the corner is Mrs. Dent with our fun music class. I actually got, when I took the photo, when you go into Mrs. Dent's class, be ready to participate. So I took the picture and then she's like, let's go, let's do this. So we played a really fun game with learning like the beeps and the counts with some cups. So I got to participate. So those are what we have. For middle school, we are very busy in our electives. So we have our cadet corps with Mrs. Smith. And so they've been busy. They've had a few things. They got to march in the homecoming rally, and then they got to participate, I have another slide on that, in an activity on a Saturday. But they also got to lower our flag, so that was really fun for them. We have our theater class going for our middle schoolers. They're working really hard. The other day they were learning how to be different things, such as animals, so that was fun for them. We have our band class with Mr. Swigart. He's doing great things with teaching the kids different instruments. Mrs. Vaughn teaches our art class, and right now they were learning how to crochet. That's really fun to go in. It was very peaceful to be in there, and they were just working away on their crocheting. Mr. Messenger does our STEM class. And so in this photo, they were having a paper airplane contest. Whose could go farthest and why it went there, and we had our 3 winners right below. And then down in the corner, we have our leadership / ASB / child development class. So it's all 3 rolled into one. Our leadership works really closely with our ASB team, and they help prepare for all of our events on campus. And then our child development students go into our primary classrooms every morning to support them. So here is just some more from our cadet corps. That's the homecoming parade that they got to march in, and then the Saturday event for the caring veterans who that they got to do. I think it was mentioned last time at the board meeting, we have our wonderful garden that Mrs. Peterson works so hard on. And so our students get to go once a month and participate in different garden lessons. We have master gardeners and other volunteers that come out and help run those lessons. So here are some of our students participating in that. I know this month we brought out the pumpkins and some worms, so they're working on that. Yeah, and there was a lot of berries in the garden when I went down there last time. Our strawberry beds are going crazy. Something else that we've been working on is just collaboration and teamwork. Some of the fifth grade class is in that photo right there on the side. They're collaborating to find the solution. They gave them some word problems, and they had to work as a group to figure out what the answer was. Again, we have Mrs. Mack doing her building the hula hoop, so they had to work together to create these structures and be able to go in them without them breaking. They had to work together to build our tallest towers. And then again, our fifth graders, they were making connections by finding common interests, so they had to work, they created their own little tile, and then they had to piece them together with others who had things that's similar to theirs. So that's what we have. Go Wildcats, those are our kindergartners. When Wildfire makes his appearance every Friday, we found them in the library reading, and they decided to take a picture together.
That's cute.
So there we go. We're very busy. Come out anytime. We'd love to have you.
Thank you.
Superintendent's report.
I don't have one tonight.
Board member comments, Julie?
Yes, I saw on the warrants that there was a deposit made for Wasuma students to go to Catalina.
I had to know that.
So excited for that. I mean, if you need a chaperone, let me know.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
sure. So Mrs. Bond is going. She might love.
Well, now it's been recorded and people know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that in the minutes, Marisa?
Yeah. No. And no, I do want, yeah, it doesn't matter. I will.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, it's October, it's the week before, I don't know, a couple days before our October break. Everybody's chomping at the bit. We're trying to finish strong. Hang in there. You guys got this. And then enjoy your break and do something fun. That's it.
I have no comments today.
My turn?
Yep.
Well, I don't have much to say. I feel like I'm catching up. I was gone most of September, and I'm glad to be back. And a lot of familiar faces. I wanted to meet Taryn, but he ran out too quick last time. Anyway, that's all I have. Thank you.
It's been kind of a busy time for me. I'm really trying to educate myself being in this role. So I'm taking a master's in governance training, and I'm continuing that. So each session is 4 hours long. So I had 2 sessions last week, and that was on student learning and achievement. And then the next day was policy and judicial review. I have 2 more trainings coming up this month, and those are both in school finance. So looking forward to those. Those trainings have just been incredibly valuable to me. And interestingly enough, Monica Malin did our training for this last session. And so it was really neat because, number one, I know her, I respect her, and then I got her phone number. That was great. So knowing that we have a rich resource like her here in our mountains is good to know. So I already knew it, but I had never really tapped into it, but now I feel comfortable tapping into that. I'm going to attend a webinar tomorrow, also from CSBA, that's on the 2025 CAST results, the achievement gap, and the call to action for the state. Because, we're being held to certain standards, and this achievement gap from post-COVID is why we don't seem to be gaining ground as a state, and yet we're being held to these standards with no money coming in. And so CSBA is trying to rally the troops to really ask for money and put the state's money where their mouth is. If this is what they want, then they need to fund it. So I'm gonna attend that tomorrow and just kind of gauge where we as a district might help or what we need to do, and just listen. There's gonna be a panel discussion and then some Q&A. So I'm gonna sit in on that tomorrow. And other than that, I hope you guys all have a great holiday over the break, get some rest, and we appreciate everything that you guys do. Thanks.
I was just going to say I appreciate the campaign to raise attendance. That's something that I learned at our annual education conference we all went to last year. So thank you for doing that. I think that's going to make a big difference, bring in some more, most importantly for the students, right? So when they miss time, it does affect them, being able to, they can't read by third grade, they're pretty much not going to succeed very well. So thank you for doing that, and that's all I have tonight. Next item, future agenda item, we discussed those board policies. Next meeting date, I didn't look that up again, let's see.
I have a question about the next meeting date, because shouldn't our board retreat be on here? Workshop, sorry, our board workshop, or no? Does that have to be agendized?
We had it on the last agenda to approve the date, and then it will, an agenda will go out 72 hours before.
So should that be our next meeting date, or no? Because it's not a general
It's
meeting?
not a regular meeting,
Okay,
but it's.
okay.
Yeah.
We do have a meeting.
But we do have a meeting on the that's the 25th.
25th,
Yes.
okay. That's what I'm
I'm showing Wednesday, November 12th. Right?
For this
Oh,
meeting.
this looks like the wrong year. It says 2024.
Yes, it does.
But the 12th is a Wednesday.
It says Wednesday the 13th.
Oh, okay. No, it's a 12th on Wednesday.
Well, I'm glad we're
So
clarifying.
when is the date of the
It
next?
says Wednesday, November 12th, 2025.
Okay, so on the, it's just typo.
There's a typo on the.
It says the 13th, the 24th.
On the agenda.
Can you click on it?
Yeah.
Right, it's just wrong on here.
I'm so sorry.
So that's it. We are adjourned. Everybody have one more break.